Good afternoon. My name is Padma. I'm here to talk about a unique knowledge system, different from the formal system that has been talked about, but equally significant. I'm going to present on the traditional knowledge system and how it can help to tackle the changing climate and the vulnerabilities it is imposing on us. India is one of the most vulnerable countries, and it is because our Himalaya is under the threat, and Himalayan region is warming at much higher rate. That's why the people who are around like 25% of the country's population residing in the IHR, they are also vulnerable. And not beside that, the a billion people who are residing in the plains, they are also under the same threat. Climate change is happening, and there is no denial in that. There are several indicators like glacial recession and mountain-specific disasters like flash floods, upward movement of species, all indicating that climate change is indeed happening. When we talk about Himalaya and changes occurring, it is difficult to delink climate change from the other changes like socio-economic, sectoral policies, etc. Moreover, Himalaya, it represents an integrated system, so we need to address them simultaneously but at a local level. People in the IHR are vulnerable because they are totally dependent on natural resources, and their traditional knowledge systems are eroding, making them more vulnerable. But traditional knowledge systems have the potential to combat and adapt to this changing climate. Out of 701, 170 indigenous groups are residing in the IHR, and they possess the knowledge, the significance of which is even realized by IPCC. But traditional knowledge is not specifically climate change oriented, but most often weather related knowledge. And the indigenous folks have developed certain adaptive practices for the same. Few of the weather related adaptation that I'm going to present here in the coming slides. Chances are high that such practices would help tackling the challenges imposed by the climate change. To maintain the food and fodder security, people have come up with strategies like fragmented land holdings, high agrobiodiversity, and storage system for food and fodder, where the idea is to maintain a heterogeneous village landscape reflecting the indigenous ways of risk management. With the increase in temperature, farmers are shifting from their traditional crop varieties to new varieties, which were earlier unable to grow because of the these are the storage systems managed through, and there are several other examples in the entire IHR. These are taken from the Western Himalaya, Central Himalaya, and the Eastern Himalaya. And these are the introduction of new crop varieties, and the shift from the traditional crop varieties to the new crop varieties indicates that the climate temperature in the IHR is indeed increasing. Traditional related to safe habitation, people identify and avoid weak zones. For example, the riverbeds, and mostly the villages are set up on an elevated land surface. Another knowledge which is purely based on mathematics is the traditional almanac, which is called Lotho in Ladakhi, and it is used by the local astrologers. They are known as onpos. They predict the weather-related details a year before, and the people take the benefit for their agricultural activities. Culture system, a great traditional system for water conservation whose efficacy is already proven in Sikkim and Uttarakhand. And one example is from the Sachidanand Bharati's contribution in Ufrain Khal, Uttarakhand. Besides, people practice planting of sacred trees near the water body to maintain the quality. Another adaptive strategy used by the people, the pastoralists, is maintaining the size and the composition of the livestock according to the pasture which is available there in the summer or winter pastures. And besides that, they undergo hybridization of the cattle with the yaks and the flock size to be taken to the pastures. Last adaptive strategy, which is my last example, and it is the change in the house architecture in Ladakh. Since few years, it has been seen that during the month of July and August there are high rainfall, and region has already witnessed flash floods in 2010, 13, 15, and even in this year. So people are changing their house architecture, which was ideally based for cold resistance, but now they are using iron sheets, plastic sheets, and then cements are used. And the change is so huge that the architecture is used as a meme in the region. And to summarize, indigenous communities are indeed vulnerable, but traditional knowledge systems have the potential to contribute to the formal system to tackle the climate change. 2UU, with her discovery of artemisinin, has already paved the noble path, and we here are trying our best to document the same for the formal system to take the advantage of traditional system. And lastly, I would like to conclude with a quote from Ishavasya Upanishad. Ishavasya vidham sarvam yada kinchit jagatyam jagat te tyarten bhunjita ma ghrita katsvidhanam. Thank you.